it's Elizabeth from Fern Stickers, and I'm here to do a Q&A video. So a few weeks ago I asked on Instagram for some questions. I got some great ones and I'm gonna answer them now. It's been a few weeks since I got the questions. I ended up rearranging my videos a little bit and this one got pushed back, but I'm ready to answer them now. I always like watching Q&A videos from other people, so I thought it would be fun to do one. So first of all, I had several questions that were kind of variations on the same theme, which is, what is the future of Fern Creek? Am I gonna keep Fern Creek open once the baby comes, etc., etc.? So I will start by answering those questions. And the answer is, I don't know. But I really want to keep Fern Creek going. It really is something that gives me a lot of life. I really enjoy doing this. I get fired up. I get a lot of creative energy from this. But at the same time, like, you know, as you know, if you followed my whole saga, like, but I also have a day job that I really like and is really fulfilling. And but I also have a day job that I really like and is really fulfilling, and the day will probably come when I do have to decide between the two for real, but I want to keep going on both as long as I can. The thing that makes this the biggest question mark is that Danielle, who is my assistant, is graduating college in December. So the fact that both the baby is coming and Danielle is leaving at the same time is what makes things most complicated, because if Danielle was sticking around, it would be no problem, because Danielle can do like 90% of the things by herself. I guess other than designing, she could do almost everything, and the few things that she doesn't do, I could teach her how to do. She is amazing, and I could not do this without her. And things, especially since I made the changes to the shop earlier in the year, Danielle and I have gotten things down. We've made things a lot more efficient. We've put in some innovations in how we do things. And so we're running the shop between the two of us really efficiently. And like, I don't even have to tell her what to do. She just knows what to do, and she's amazing. So the biggest question is going to be replacing Danielle in terms of what the future of the shop is. And ideally, I would actually hire somebody full-time, and because we're doing enough business that I could support somebody full-time and then be able to do more. Because then because if I had someone working full-time, pretty much all I would do is like design and social media, and my employee could run everything else day to day. Because that's kind of where I think, in terms of where we've gotten to efficiency and the time that this requires, if I had one person working full-time, they could definitely handle all the production and order filling, and we would be able to offer more things than right now. That, like, yeah, kind of one person full-time plus me doing all the designing would work out really well and would let me build capacity. So that would be ideal, but finding the right person is really a challenge. And I've been really fortunate with most of the people that I've hired, but it's like, especially when I only have one person, they really need to be the right person. And if they're not the right person, it would not go well. So that's kind of the question, is, can I find someone to hire full-time who can take things over? But even if I can't find someone full-time, can I find someone else like Danielle, who's a student, who can work 15 to 20 hours a week and can do all the things that I need? So that's really where I see the biggest question. But I'm hoping, even if I can't find someone to hire, especially right away, I'm hoping that I can keep things going in some shape or form. And again, you all have been so amazing for sticking with me as I've kind of like scaled back and then gotten bigger again and then scaled back again, and like trying to figure out what's sustainable for me. So, you know, even if it's like, okay, I'm doing a mystery kit every month and that's it, I know that you all will still be along for the ride. So I think that there's probably something I can do that's going to be sustainable to keep things going, but what it is, I don't know yet. And again, it depends a lot on being able to hire someone. I guess also too, like, someone asked the question in terms of like, what's the future for Fern Creek? And the future too is, I've got so many ideas and so many things I'm excited about. So that's where I really like hiring someone full-time would let me do a lot more of these ideas. So I'm really hoping that I can keep going and keep innovating and adding some new things, playing out some of these new ideas, because yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I'm really excited about and hope that I can do. So I think that that's the best answer I can give right now, which is, you know, I don't know, but I really want to keep Fern Creek going because it's something that I love, and I love connecting with all of you and getting all your feedback and making your days and your weeks as you plan. So I really don't want to have to stop doing this, but having a baby is going to change my life quite a bit too. How's Luna? Luna is doing great. It cracks Brian up always that people on the internet care about my cat, care about our cat this much. But I think the thing that's funniest with Luna right now is she has, since we moved, she had decided that like one of the bedrooms was her bedroom, and that's where she spends most of her time. The thing that's really funny too is she She used to like always hang out with me when I was working, when I work from home. And now she's like, no, I'm gonna hang out in my bedroom, which is, I mean, it's like right down the hall. I can see when she comes in and out, I can see her coming in and out of her bedroom. She likes to hang out there, and she's got like tons of places. Right now we have 2 twin beds in there. It's a guest room, and there's 2 twin beds, and then there's like 2 side tables, and she'll like switch. I'll go in and visit her when I take breaks from doing work, and she'll like switch between the beds and switch between the end tables and the windowsill, and she just moves around there, and that is her room. But the thing that she doesn't know yet is that's gonna be the nursery. And so she is gonna get kicked out of her room before too long, because we have been getting our nursery furniture and we haven't started putting stuff together yet or moving those other beds out yet, but we're gonna have some visits from Brian's parents and my parents coming up to help us with getting stuff ready for the baby. And yeah, Luna is gonna get kicked out, or she's gonna have to share, but most of the time, at least early on, she's gonna be kicked out of her room, so she's gonna have to find a new place to hang out, and maybe she'll actually hang out with me while I work. Then what courses do you teach? Okay, so this is a great question. So my PhD is in communication, and my specific subfield within communication is organizational communication. So that is like how people communicate at work. So a lot of the classes that I teach are like specific to organizational communication. So I teach a class called Organizational Communication. I teach a class called Gender Work and Organization. I teach a course on leadership. I teach a course on creativity that focuses a lot on creativity in organizational contexts. But I also teach some more general classes too. So this semester, one of the classes I'm teaching is communication theory. I guess I teach that pretty much every fall. So that's like more of a survey of communication theory across different communication subfields. That's a class that I really enjoy teaching. Well, I enjoy teaching that class because I really like the content. It's a hard class and the students don't like the class. So it's always a little bit like a tension between I'm so excited about the material, but the students really don't want to be there and they're really struggling most of the time. And so it's a little bit of a tension. Let's see, I'm trying to think if there's any other classes that I have taught recently. I've also taught small group communication, which actually small group communication is one of my favorite classes to teach, but I don't think I'm gonna ever get to teach it again because of the way that our teaching is structured. I probably won't be able to teach that anytime soon, if ever, but that is a super, super fun class to teach because it's lots of different like in-class activities and working in groups and showing students that they can actually work in groups effectively and manage conflict in groups. And so yeah, so those are some of the classes that I teach. Then what is the baby's gender? So we are actually going to be surprised. We are not finding out if we are having a boy or a girl. Yeah, so we're excited about the surprise. And it's both like, it's kind of like partly for practical reasons because I hear from people that like you get, especially if you're having a girl, even if you don't ask for clothes, you're gonna get a lot of girl clothes. And then if you have another baby who's a boy, you can't reuse them so much. So part of it is practical, but I'm hoping that at least for the like 0 to 6 months, we can stick to pretty like gender neutral clothes and things that could get reused for a future baby. But also it's like, I don't know, there's so few big surprises left in life that I think it's really fun to wait and be surprised. What is my favorite kit I've designed so far this year? Okay, another really good question. So I'm gonna cheat and not pick one. But so partly because I reformatted the floral rainbow kit. So that was the mystery kit last year for last July. And it was one of my all-time favorites, one of your all-time favorites, and just like I loved that so much that I just had to bring it back as a regular kit. So that one I loved so much that I brought that artwork back. And like I've been bringing some other artwork back, but I've been waiting longer. But that was when I was like, nope, just a year. I can't wait very long. I've got to bring this one back. And that's partly because I just love rainbow weeks. Rainbow weeks are just so satisfying and so pretty. So floral rainbow, definitely. Then another one that's high up there is the fall photos kit, mostly just because it was something really different. I had kind of wondered about doing a photo kit for a long time, but I didn't know if it would work well for the kind of stickers that I make and the kind of paper I use. And I was like, forget it, I'm just gonna try it. And that was really fun for me to do and different. And it's sold really well. So I know that you all are liking the fall photos kit as well. So those are probably kind of my favorites, but for different reasons. And yeah, and that one I just think is super, super pretty, and one was kind of a fun like design challenge and put me out of my comfort zone, but I really enjoyed doing. Then how has your planning style changed? So I think that my planning style has actually stayed fairly consistent, that I have been a sticker planner from okay, actually let me back up even further. So I guess it's kind of a planner style like once I was like in the planner community and like using an Erin Condren planner, or like planner style going way back, because I actually in college and grad school, I like made my own inserts in a disc planner, but I had no idea that that was a thing. So my mom had gotten a Levenger disc punch and like some discs and notebooks and stuff, and it was she had like seen it at Levenger, and cause she worked in downtown Chicago and there was like a Levenger store near her office, and she would go in there and browse, and she just thought it was cool. So she had gotten this disc punch and discs, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. And so in college I started making like my own inserts, and so because I had different things, and like again, it's kind of funny now that I know that these are things, and I had no idea at the time. I just was like making them for myself because I made my own daily inserts where I could like keep track of habits and daily stuff, and then also weekly inserts. So I made my own inserts for several years. But that was just pen, although I would use colored pens. So I would use colored pens, but it was just pens. I had no idea about like using stickers or washi tape or anything. So, so that was kind of a very simple, kind of straightforward planning. But then when I entered the planner community, after I got my first Erin Condren planner, it took me like 3 weeks to buy stickers for it. So I did not wait very long to get stickers because I saw what other people were doing and I really liked it. And I just liked the idea of having this creative outlet that also helped me to be more productive. So the sticker part was really appealing for me, and I got really excited about that very quickly. But I think that my style has kind of stayed generally the same. I started in an Erin Condren vertical planner, and I would use the 3 sections where the top section would be like timed events for the day, the middle would be work to-dos, and the bottom would be home to-dos, which really is kind of like the daily do-up, but just shifted around a little bit. And then I used the hourly for a while, which again was like, you know, putting to-do lists in and then timed events. So I think that my planning style has stayed like fairly similar, like using stickers, having to-do lists, having a schedule. So I don't think my planning style has changed too much. And there's other stuff too, like I love the people that do like the minimal planning, but I think I just love stickers too much. I don't know that I could do that. So there's other planning styles that I really like. I'll say the one, nobody asked me this, but I'm just telling you, the one planning style that like freaks me out, I don't know if freaks me out is the right way to say it, but the people who like do happy planners and put the stickers that go like over multiple days and multiple columns, like they make these beautiful layouts, but it just, I need the stickers to stay in one column. I can't get creative with overlapping the stickers between columns. So there's some planner styles I look at and I'm like, that's cool, maybe I should try that. And then there's other planner styles where it's like, no, I can't do that. Other people are doing beautiful things, but I need to stay in the lines. Then the last question I have is, what are my maternity leave plans for both roles? Another really good question. So first of all, starting with Fern Creek, again, it's a big question mark. And so I may end up putting the shop on vacation for a short period of time, or I don't know, a long period of time. We'll see. It's all gonna be very flexible. And again, I know that I'm fortunate to have like the best customers in the world who have stuck with me through so many changes. And I know that you all will still understand and will be there for me when I reopen if I need to put the shop on vacation for, you know, whatever it is. If it's a couple weeks or a couple months, you know, I'll do what I need to. But again, ideally, I'll be able to hire somebody who can keep things running pretty smoothly. There's also the chance that Danielle won't be starting a job right after she graduates, that depending on when she gets a job and when the start date is, it's possible that I'll have her for a few months after the baby is born, which is like, secretly, that's ideally what I want to happen. But at the same time, I also want Danielle to like get an awesome job and move away and get an awesome engineering job, which is what her degree is in. So it's kind of selfishly, I hope that it takes Danielle a little while to find a job, but like also I'm her biggest fan and rooting for her, and I really want her to find an awesome job right away. So we will see what happens there. So Fern Creek, you know, again, big question mark that depends on all kinds of things, and even stuff too, like, you know, do I have a normal delivery? Do I have postpartum depression? Like there's a lot of questions too that you just don't know until afterwards. The awesome thing with my job, my full-time job though, is I am getting an amazing maternity leave, although I did have to advocate for it. So this, I'm gonna give you a little bit of backstory here, which is when I was hired, we were told that everybody in my college, so there's the university and there's colleges within the university. So the college policy was that everybody got a full semester of paid parental leave. So if you're a man, if you're a woman, if you adopt, if you have a biological child, whatever the situation is, you get a full semester, which is 16 weeks of paid leave. And several of my colleagues have done this since I've been there. So I know that it's one of those policies that actually exists and people use. It's not one that's just on the books, but nobody can actually take advantage of. So I thought I was in good shape, except then last October, they changed the policy and they got rid of it. And essentially the reason that we had to get rid of that was twofold, which was one, that we didn't really have the money for it anymore. And two was that because it was only our college that was doing that, other people in other parts of the university found out about it. And it was essentially a lawsuit waiting to happen that we got better benefits than people in other parts of the university. So the university, instead of saying like, oh, so we should give all faculty a semester of paid parental leave, they said, no, our new policy is you get 6 weeks of paid leave and that's it, for faculty, staff, whatever. And the problem is 6 weeks doesn't really work for faculty because we're on a 16-week semesters is our schedule. And also there's the way that money works in universities is just weird. I mean, I guess probably in a lot of companies, the way that money works is kind of weird, but the way that money works is kind of funny too. So also even the 6 weeks, like there's no funding for it. So if I were to like take just the 6 weeks and not teach my classes for 6 weeks, there's no money to pay someone else to teach my classes for 6 weeks. And again, in universities, it's a little bit different. Like, you know, for a lot of you, you're probably like, yeah, I've done unpaid labor and stepped up when my colleague was on maternity leave. So in a lot of places, that kind of thing happens. But in universities, like you wouldn't ask somebody to teach a class for 6 weeks without paying them. The way that our workloads are defined, especially in relation to teaching, is very clear and straightforward. So the new policy just doesn't make any sense for faculty. And you know, and so I think that they should make the policy for everyone and for staff too, because staff should get more than 6 weeks off as well. I think they should give everybody a full semester of paid leave. Our university is trying to like become a world-class university and position itself in all these ways, and I'm over here like, and this is partly too, one of my areas of research is like gender and organizations, and I'm like, yeah, we know that paid parental leave is really important for recruitment and retention, especially for women and minorities. So if those were our goals, we should be offering more than 6 weeks. But anyway, I digress. I could talk about this for a long time. So anyway, the official policy is 6 weeks, but I was just like, how do I even take 6 weeks? That doesn't make sense. And also, like, I've seen my colleagues get a full semester. It's not really fair that I only get 6 weeks when they got a semester. I asked around a little bit to find out what other people were doing. And Brian, this is convoluted, but Brian has a colleague whose wife is a professor in my same college, but in a different department. And they just had a baby in the spring. And she told me that she was able to combine the 6 weeks of paid leave with sick leave to get a full semester off. Because like another weird thing about university life is that we get all this sick leave, but it is literally pointless because like if I'm sick, I wouldn't use sick leave. Like I don't even know how I would take sick leave. If I was sick, I would email my students and say, there's no in-person class today, like do this assignment online. And if I was sick on a day that I wasn't teaching, like nobody cares. Nobody cares what I'm doing as long as I do what I need to by my annual review and show up to class. So, because we don't work set hours. We don't even have a set number of like contract hours that we have to work. It's just a weird job. So it's weird that we get sick leave. And you used to be able to cash out your sick leave when you retired, but you can't cash out your sick leave anymore. So like I have this fiction of sick leave, but that I have 10 weeks of sick leave accrued. And again, I'm never going to use it for anything else, but it turns out you can use it for maternity leave. So I'm able to combine 6 weeks of paid leave with 10 weeks of paid sick leave to get the full semester off. Although fortunately, people are working with me and they're only making me take 6 weeks of paid or 6 weeks of sick leave. So it essentially coincides with FMLA, and then the last few weeks of the semester, they're kind of being like, we'll just forget about that and pretend that you're working. So that's really nice that I'm able to get all that time off. And especially the thing that's nice about not having to use all of my sick leave and still having weeks left over is that ideally, you know, at least at this point, we would like to have another kid. And if I used all 10 of my weeks of sick leave now, that took me 7 years to accrue, I would not have enough time to accrue that before we have another baby. So I'll have sick leave left over that I could use for a future child. So this is like the longest answer to a very simple question, which is that I have gotten really lucky. This was not, the timing of this baby was not planned in this way, but I am due the day before classes end. I will make it almost all the way through the semester, you know, if not all the way, and I've got things planned. So like and we get a full week for Thanksgiving break. So I'll be 38 weeks at the beginning of Thanksgiving break, and spend it's Thanksgiving break and then 1 week of classes and then finals week. So I'm having everything big is due before Thanksgiving. The last week of classes, I've got all ready to go online if it needs to be online. And so, you know, as long as the baby doesn't come more than 2 weeks early, I should be set. But what this means is I get winter break off, I get the whole spring semester off, and then I get summer break off. So I will have from like early December through mid-August that I'll be off work, which is, for being in America, that is pretty amazing for maternity leave. So that is what I will get for maternity leave, which I feel really, really fortunate about, and I'm glad that I was able to make things work. So I feel really fortunate. And also on top of that, Brian's company like just changed their policy. They just doubled parental leave time. So he gets 12 weeks paid off. And he also he always takes 2 weeks off in December anyway. So he'll get more than 12 weeks once he adds his vacation time in December on top of that. So I'll have Brian at home for me for a long time too, which I think will be a really big help. So that is, again, the very long answer to the question about maternity leave, but I'm kind of passionate about this topic. And going back to the question about teaching, we spend a lot of time talking about this in my class on gender, work, and communication. So anyway, those are the answers to my questions. Thank you so much to people who submitted. It was fun to answer these. I hope that you all are having a great week, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone.